Good evening, everyone. I hope to give you a little bit of information tonight about stress, what stress is, how we can identify it, and how we can prevent it in our lives to kind of make them a little bit easier. Stress is an everyday occurrence. Everyone has to deal with it. You've all had it in your lives at one point or another, whether it's work, co-workers, work situations, home, your family, your children, finances, or the ride to and from work that might stress you out. Stress is something that we deal with on different levels every day. So I hope to let you know again today just some ways to kind of understand what stress is, how to deal with it, and how to prevent it. Because there are a lot of different kinds of stress, and people don't usually know that. They just kind of think stress is stress. But there are lots of different kinds of stress and different ways to approach each one. So again, I said, everyone knows what stress feels like. There's good stress, and then there's bad stress. And chances are we've all had our run-ins with both. But what exactly is stress? Stress is a non-specific mental or physical strain caused by any kind of emotional, physical, economic, or other factor that initiates any kind of physiological response. It's an automatic physical reaction to danger or demand. You might have heard people use the phrase fight or flight before. Think of stress as your body's way of telling you it's fight or flight time. Your body's trying to give you the energy, the anxiety, the strength to either fight the situation or flee from it. So fight or flight is a good way to kind of think about stress. I also often tell our patients that come into the mental health clinic that stress is a very normal reaction to an abnormal event. Anything that might have happened that you're stressed about, you're stressed because it doesn't normally happen in your life, so you're struggling with how to deal with it. So it's a normal reaction to something you don't usually deal with. So first, let's see how many different types of stressors there are, and we'll examine different kinds of stress. So what are some things that might stress people out? Like I said, work, home, finances. There are tons of different things that we could be stressed about, down to the littlest thing as, am I going to get my speech in? Am I going to get a good grade on my speech or not? So some types of stress. Eustress, E-U-S-T-R-E-S-S, is an essential stress. It aids in motivation. It aids in creativity. Maybe you have heard people say things like, I work well under pressure. Some people, under a deadline, get motivation. They get motivated to complete the product, and that's good stress. A positive outcome comes from it. There's distress or bad stress, which is probably the most commonly recognized. So again, like I said, any kind of circumstance that you don't normally deal with that you get stressed about, this would be called distress. Or critical stress, kind of any event with sufficient emotional power that overcomes your normal coping skills. So a lot of times natural disasters, 9/11 and Hurricane Katrina are good examples of critical stress. This is the kind of thing that you really would have no way to know how to deal with unless you've been properly trained. So we call this critical stress. So now that we understand the different kinds of stress, let's kind of look at how to recognize it maybe in yourself and in others. Everyone responds to stress in different ways. It could be physically, cognitively, emotionally, or behaviorally. So let's kind of look at some things that maybe if you respond very physically to stress, what you might experience. You may experience fatigue, vomiting, rapid heart rate, dizziness, headaches, nausea, maybe even fainting spells. So those are all physical responses. Cognitive, if you respond really cognitively to stress, it kind of messes with your head. You might see poor attention, poor concentration, maybe nightmares, and kind of general memory problems. Maybe have trouble with short, long-term memory, and kind of general confusion. Maybe if you respond really emotionally to stress, you may see constant fear, depression, being real guilty, a general anxiety, or irritability. Irritability is a really big one for emotional stressors. Or behaviorally, these people will tend to kind of withdraw, Maybe they will have angry outbursts. And also watch out for substance abuse. They usually sometimes will try to self-medicate, the people that respond very behaviorally to stress. So we've identified what stress is and how different people react to it. So how can we fix it? What are some things that we can do to kind of help prevent us from responding to stress? Get it before we even get stressed out. The cornerstone of stress management is found in your everyday activities. So activities in daily living, different things that you would do to kind of keep your stress levels down. Diet, sleep, exercise, and relaxation are essentials to your stress management. So let's start by looking at diet. You've heard everyone say it before, but it is a cornerstone to stress management. 3 well-balanced meals a day, but it is okay to treat yourself once in a while. Be aware of emotional eating. The people, remember we talked about folks who respond very emotionally. Sometimes it's a direct trigger to go ahead and eat. People who have relied on food to calm their nerves. So that's something to watch out for. Also avoid alcohol or any other substance, drugs, any kind of prescription medication, whatever it might be, to kind of self-medicate. If you're stressed, there's healthy ways to deal with it. We don't have to look to medicine or alcohol. And then sleep. Avoid caffeine. You always want to try to get 7 to 8 hours each time you lay down to rest. Napping isn't necessarily always the best for your sleep hygiene. Something we teach people in our sleep hygiene class is to kind of have a bedtime routine. So you might think about, if you have children, kind of the routine that you keep with them so they know, hey, it's getting to be bedtime. So I eat dinner, I take a bath, I read my book, I go to bed. Same 4 things every night, so your body kind of gets in the bedtime routine. It will help you sleep better. Exercise, 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week. You know, it's preached to you constantly, but the positive endorphins that flow in your body after you exercise are priceless. They really help with stress, they help with depression, any kind of mental problems you might be having. Exercise really is a great kind of self-medication. And relaxation, do what calms you. Always make time for yourself. If it's nothing but 10 minutes at the end of the day to read your favorite book or, watch your favorite show that you recorded, it is important that in this world where we always are thinking of others, to think of yourself. So as you've heard the concepts behind stress management, they're easy, and it's easy to kind of incorporate them a little bit each day into your life for a very positive outcome. So this evening we've covered what stress is, how it can affect each person differently. We also explore different techniques and how to prevent and manage stress when it does occur. Hopefully this information will better assist you as well as any others you might come in contact with. I'm going to leave you with a quote from Anton Chekhov. He said, "Any idiot can face a crisis, but it's the day-to-day living that wears you out." So just think about that next time you're stressed. That is a normal reaction to an abnormal event.